Good morning. Welcome to Plane Savers Central Idaho, episode 2, I guess. I'm here with Scott Anderson. I'm Bruce Lund, and this is Scott Anderson.
Hey, Bruce.
Good to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott's the owner of the C-47 here that I made this earlier video about, and Buffalo Airways, Mikey McBrien, and some of the other plane savers are interested in. We're inspecting it a little closer today and doing some things, and just glad to meet Scott and hear maybe some of the story about this. When did you purchase the plane?
I bought it in 1989 when it was part of our smoke jumper training fleet.
Right.
And so I was a smoke jumper for years and years down here. And so what we would do with this plane is we would practice emergency procedures in the active DC-3s
Right.
for jump operations. And so I learned how to behave in the airplane in an emergency in this thing. But it wasn't an active smoke jumper plane when I bought it. So,
Right.
So when we moved to the new smoke jumper base in McCall, this wasn't needed anymore, and so they put it up for surplus, and I bought it surplus auction.
Great. And it's a pretty interesting story. Mikey says he's got quite a bit of history that he's dug up on this plane already, but what do you know about its history? Anything?
Well, it was originally part of they called it Test and Evaluation Command, where the idea was that they would take aerial photographs, say, of a battlefield, and then they would process them on the plane, and there are some tubes in the back of the plane that they would drop the film to supposedly, the commanders on the battlefield, so they would have an aerial photograph. I don't know if it had any active service actually doing that, but then it was surplus with 4 other DC-3s, and the Forest Service bought them and turned the rest of the fleet into smoke jumper airplanes. And one of them crashed in Moose Creek on the Nez Perce National Forest, killed 9 people.
Oh, wow.
One of them is still at Hill Air Force Base, and you'll know it because it has Vista windows. And the other 2 were eventually turbine converted by Basler Turbine.
Okay.
And then they were decommissioned as jump planes, I think 6 years ago.
Oh, and so that plane, did you see that plane in the video that I had, the Basler in there?
Yeah.
I wonder if that wasn't one of them.
I don't know, because they change paint jobs so often, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of paint job it has on it now. Last paint job it had when I was jumping out of it was a kind of an orange and white paint scheme.
And that one there was bright red and white, yeah. But interesting. So you're also friends with a bunch of other DC-3 aficionados, huh?
Yeah, I'm still friends with a lot of the pilots that flew this when I was a jumper, and I'm still friends with a guy, Stan McGrew, down in Utah, who's the guy who facilitated, the conversions with Basler, and he supposedly really knows more than anyone in the Forest Service ever has about DC-3s. He kept these things alive and then finally converted them, and then he retired.
And you have friends that are involved with Miss Montana as well?
I do. Rick Nash, he's one of the benefactors for Miss Montana in Missoula. And so, yeah, in fact, we were conversing when they were getting ready to fly that to Normandy. They wanted to borrow some parts off of this, but that never happened. They managed to do it without. So.
And I told you Miss Montana made a stop. Maybe it wasn't. Regardless, Miss Montana stopped here many times when she was in service with Johnson's Flying Service out of Missoula. And it's just, over where I live kind of east and a little bit south of here, but Miss Montana flew over all this country, and smoke jumpers out of that plane there, and different service into the Middle Fork of the Salmon even, and different things, flying freight and all kinds of stuff.
Well, when I first started, we were still flying round engines, and so I think I was in round engine airplanes for like 8 years until they did the turbine conversion.
Neat. Yeah. Well, you guys can be thinking about this plane. there's some damage to it, but I don't know if any of it's irreversible or not, but I'm not really a plane guy, but like I said a minute ago to a couple other people, if it was just an old log loader or an old log truck, we'd fix it up and go to work, and I think that's what we ought to do with this. So keep it in your thoughts. Do you have a nickname for this old girl?
Well, I called this place Dakota Park.
Dakota Park. Here we are in Dakota Park, just on the other side of the street from MYL, McCall International Airport, right? But the smoke jumper base, the new one's just down the road here, and the old one was back here, wasn't it?
It was just down Mission Street.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they had the base was there, but the ready room was right over here across the airfield.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of history here. Arnold Aviation flew out of here forever as well, and a lot of aviation history took place at this airport here, but you know, Idaho history. But anyway, keep this plane in your thoughts, and like and subscribe if you would, and check out Plane Savers and Mikey McBrien on YouTube as well, and see the story of that DTD Delta Tango Delta plane that was abandoned much like this, and the fellow that had it was a lot like Scott is now, in the position that he just knew he couldn't do it by himself. And Benoit is his name, and he sold the plane to Mikey McBrien of Buffalo Airways, and in the period of about 150 days or so, they got it restored and certified to fly, and flew it on the 75th anniversary of D-Day last June 6th. So we're hoping something as inspiring can happen to this old girl as well. So catch you next time. Have a great day, and keep your wings spread. Amen. That's great.